Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is what is today? All my dates are off because quarantine. It is a day in April is what it is. April 14th, a Tuesday. Today I am here to help you guys get through quarantine. And what do I mean by that? I mean that I'm gonna recommend you guys some good stuff to watch. I'm just hopping right in because I have a lot written down and I wonder if I'm gonna get through all of them. And more specifically, it is going to be anime and K-dramas because those are the things I watch. So I literally have like, let me just show you guys. Like, this is all the anime I want to talk about. You can't really see. And these are the K-dramas I want to talk about. Kind of a long list, and I'm gonna go through them I'm gonna go through them pretty quickly because I mean I just need to tell you guys like what it's about and then you guys just watch it for all the fun. You literally have all the time in the world during this quarantine to watch these things. So let's just get started. I separated them into genres just so like if I'm talking about one genre, maybe you can skip ahead and be like, I don't care about this genre. I'm gonna start with anime because your girl loves her anime. I've seen I know how many I've seen because I have a list. I've seen 397 anime. But that also includes like second seasons, OVAs, movies, everything according to my anime list. So I'm just gonna recommend you guys some of my favorites. When I was scrolling through it, I was like, oh, I think that'd be like a fun watch. First, I'm gonna start off with rom-coms because rom-coms are my absolute favorite. I probably watch rom-coms more than any other genre because they're just so easy and fun to watch. The first one I have written down is Okami Shoujo to Kuro Oji. I think its English is just Wolf Girl and like Black Prince. I really tend to like the anime or just like K-dramas, anything in general where like the girl and the guy start off hating each other and like the guy's really mean to her and stuff and then they just end up together and then he's really nice and it's really cute. I just tend to really like those kind of anime and you'll probably be able to tell through like the rom-coms I mentioned. The main girl is a girl who basically lies to her friends about having a boyfriend and then she uses this really attractive guy as like her boyfriend, not knowing that he like goes to her school too and everything. So like she just uses him as a fake boyfriend and then her friends find out that like it's him and then she's like, oh snap, and then she begs him to like act as her boyfriend in public. So in public he's really nice to her and he seems like a really nice guy, but in the background he's like pretty mean to her and like it all ensues from that. And it's just a really good rom-com, I think. I really love it. I read the manga too after watching the anime because I just loved it that much. Another rom-com I recommend is a really cute one. It's probably my favorite rom-com of like all time and it's called Kimi ni Todoke. It's another high school one. High school ones also tend to be my favorite because they're just so cute to watch. It's basically about a girl who's like really misunderstood by her classmates because she looks scary on the outside with like her long black hair with her bangs. And then there's like a really popular guy who's like really cute and like smart and like not the mean type. He's really nice, which is completely different from what I just mentioned earlier. The main girl is like drawn to him because he's so bright and wonderful and I just love Kazuhaya so much. But eventually they just start talking. From there it just all blossoms and she is basically transported into like a different world of like being more open and like becomes friends with more people. And it's just a really beautiful slice of life rom-com, like easygoing. They are so cute because they're both so like new to everything and they're both so like timid and just it's so cute. If you want an anime that'll give you like butterflies and you'll just smile, it's nothing intense at all, it's like the most chill anime, then I highly recommend Kimi ni Todoke. I love it so much. And there's like, I think there's 2 seasons, I think. Yeah. And then we revert back to what I said about liking when the main guy is like mean to the main girl and then they like end up together. My next recommendation is Kaicho wa Maid-sama, which typically just goes by like Maid-sama. The main girl in high school, she has like a really good image. Like she's the council president of their school and she has like a really upright image at school and everything, but then behind the scenes she works at a maid cafe and no one at school knows that. And then the really like popular good looking guy finds out her secret is basically what it is, and he basically blackmails her, so she has to like listen to him, and like it's just a bunch of shenanigans from there. I know this one is on Netflix. Most of these will not be on Netflix. I watch on many different websites. Down below I'll link some other websites where I watch anime, but this one I know you can find on Netflix. I really like it. I gave it a 10, and I love Usui, but anyone who watches the anime will be in love with Usui. Highly recommend that one as well. One that I feel like is very underrated, and I say this because when I posted my Instagram picture right here of like me with all of my favorite anime boys, a couple people mentioned him and were like, thank you, like he's so underrated. A lot of people were asking about him too, and the anime is called Kami-sama Hajimemashita, which is Kami-sama Kiss, I think is like the English title. The main girl is very poor and she like has no place to live, and then she ends up helping this guy who, once she helps him, he's like, oh, you can stay like at my place or whatever, and he ends up taking her to a shrine. And at the shrine, she finds some familiars come out. I believe there were 2, but the main guy is a fox familiar. And they basically like refuse to let her live there or like treat her like a god at all or whatever, because they think that she's like the new god or whatever since she's living at the shrine. A bunch of things ensue, and her and the main guy end up like forming a contract where he basically like has to serve her. So now they're like a god and a familiar, and then from there it just goes, it just smooth sailing from there. Not really smooth sailing. They just have to navigate the world of like human and also the supernatural kind of world. It's really good. I love Kami-sama. I also love the opening song of this anime. I highly recommend that one. The guy I was talking about is the main guy, Tomoe. He's like white haired. Like I said, he's a fox. He's also one of those where I would say is mean to her but then nice to her, and it's just... The next rom-com I want to recommend is Special A. It's a little older, like it's one of the first anime I watched like back then. It's about a girl who like thinks she's the top at everything, and then she runs into this guy who like beats her and is like better than her, so she ends up going to his school, and then at the school they have like a ranking system, and he's number 1 and she's number 2, and like basically her goal is to like beat him and be number 1. But along with them two, the school has like a top 7 in the academy that are known as Special A, which is the title of the show. So the show not only revolves around the 2 main characters, but it also revolves around the 7 as a whole, which I really like. It's an easy watch too, I think. There's not really much drama in it. The characters are funny. The main guy isn't even my favorite. I love Tadashi. The next anime I recommend is one I watched recently that I like fell in love with. The long title is Wotaku ni koi wa muzukashii, but I think it just goes by Wotakoi mainly. And it's about a girl who works at an office and she's secretly an otaku. In that culture, it might be bad to be seen as an otaku because you're like, oh, you work so much, like you shouldn't be focusing your time on like all of that otaku stuff. Then she runs into like an old classmate, and then while they're talking she's trying to hide the fact that she's an otaku to him too, but then he calls her out because he like knows she's one. She tells him how like her old boyfriend broke up with her because of the fact that she was like an otaku, and then he recommends to her she should date another otaku, and then like recommends like himself. And then she's like, okay. So they basically agree to date since they're both otaku to see how that like works out. And then it just goes from there. It's really funny too. It's like the main couple and then there's another couple, and like those 4 dynamics together. It's definitely one of my favorites. I've watched it the most recently probably, but it's definitely one of my favorites. It's so good. The last rom-com I have written down here is Toradora, which is one of my favorites too. One of the earlier ones I watched also. About a guy who looks really scary but is actually super kind and sweet, and then a girl who's like really small, petite, and like cute, but she's really feisty and mean. They just cross paths because they find out that the main guy is in love with the main girl's best friend, and then vice versa. The main girl is in love with the main guy's friend. Does that make sense? And they're basically trying to help each other get with their friends. It's very like pure and sweet, and just watching the main couple go from like kind of always butting heads, as basically all of these rom-coms are. Seeing them go from that to just like turning into like a couple, not even a spoiler, it's a rom-com for a reason. I really like it. It's really cute, and the opening song is a banger. And those are all of the rom-coms I have written down. So now we move on to the, I literally wrote this, the drama slash cry time anime. The first anime in that category is Clannad. I love Clannad. I've been trying to get my sister to watch Clannad forever, but she don't want to watch it because I told her that she's gonna cry a lot. So if you want to watch one that'll make you cry, it'll be a very cathartic experience. Watch Clannad and Clannad After Story, which is the second season, which you have to watch. The main guy is a delinquent and like he's been told that he's gonna surmount to like nothing, so he always like skips school and stuff. One day while walking to school, he runs into the main girl like muttering to herself, and she like tells him, she's like, oh, like now we're friends, and he's like, okay. Eventually, as the days go on, he notices her more and more at school. He finds out that she's really sickly. Because of that, like, she had to like take a break from school and stuff. But now that she's back at school, her dream is to revive the drama club of the school. The main guy is like, oh, okay, I guess I'll help you. The whole first season revolves around that kind of just like him helping her, him being with her, him helping her recruit more members. Such a beautiful drama romance. It evolves from like Clannad to the second season Clannad After Story. It covers so much ground and just makes you feel very fulfilled. Like, it's a wave of emotions, both bad emotions and like feel good emotions, and it's just so good. I like the second season more than the first season, but you have to watch the first season to get there. You will need some tissues. Make sure to have some tissues. The next anime in this category that I want to recommend is called Orange. It's about a girl, the main girl, wakes up one day and gets like a really weird letter, and she finds out that the letter is from herself 10 years in the future. The letter basically is in hope that the future her wants the past her to make sure that the mistakes that happened in her world don't happen again. Specifically, she tells her to keep an eye out on the new transfer student that transferred to their school because he's not in the future, like hinting that like he died. The anime is basically about her trying to not let that future happen, and then along the way like beautiful moments happen, friendships happen, romance happens. It's very emotional because of like the entire premise of the anime is pretty like heavy and like emotional. I also just love the friendship in it. I love anime that really represent friendship well. So this one's a really good one. I like this one. And then the last anime in this category has a long title and it made me shed many tears. The long title is Ano Himita Hana no Namae wa Boku Tachi wa Mada Shiranai. The short title is just Ano Hana. This one's on Netflix too, along with Clannad, you know? It's about a guy who's basically kind of like a hermit. Like, he doesn't really do much, and then one day he just sees the ghost of one of his old friends. He ignores it at first because he's just like, what am I seeing? This is weird. She's like telling him, oh, you like still need to grant me a wish. And he ignores it because of the fact that it's told that she died years ago. So he's like, I don't know what I'm seeing. But then eventually he starts listening to her, and then he gathers their old friend group back together that fell apart basically when she had died. And they all come together to basically help grant her wish, to help her lay at rest so that she can like leave. It's a very dramatic one because they like go through ups and downs and like feelings of guilt, feelings of pain because of like her death and everything that happened. They're not only trying to help her move on, but they're trying to help themselves move on too, because they all hold these emotions that come out throughout the entire 11 episodes. It's such a jam-packed like 11 episodes, but it's also super chill, super easy to watch, a very beautiful anime. I cried a lot. Also portrays friendship in a beautiful way, but also very realistic because of the fact that like they had fallen apart and kind of getting back together is awkward and not always going to be the same. I would highly recommend it. So good. Next I have sports anime, which I'm a huge fan of sports anime, and y'all already should know the first one I'm going to mention. And if you haven't watched it already, if you're an anime fan, and it is Haikyuu. Haikyuu is probably my favorite anime like ever. It is a volleyball anime. It's basically about a boy joins a volleyball team at his high school. He's really short. Everyone's like, you're not going to do anything, you're not going to be good at volleyball, blah 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 blah. He meets a really good setter. You know, it's a lot of volleyball terms. You got to look it up and read about it. The school had a volleyball team that used to be really good in the past, but now they're not, and it's basically the revival of that volleyball team and them overcoming people's like beliefs that they wouldn't surmount to anything and that they would just always be beaten. And it's basically Karasuno, the team, surpassing everyone's like beliefs and just flying and being wonderful. I love Haikyuu. Like, what, 4 seasons out? 5th one comes out this summer. I think it's in July it starts. For sure watch. Like if you haven't watched it,
forget all the other ones I mentioned and just watch hehe first.
The next sports anime I recommend is a soccer anime, and it is called Giant Killing. It's an anime about basically a team, the main team that it centers around. Used to be a really good team, but then now they suck and they've been losing like games like constantly to the point where they're just down. Like they're so good. The team's manager decided to hire a new coach, and that new coach like used to be associated with the team, but then he like left, so he's considered like a traitor and stuff. But they hired him as a coach for the team, and from there like it's just the progress of the team from becoming like one of the worst teams to one of the best and just like doing really good again. It's like a really intense sports anime. Like I binged it, like I just watched it like in its whole entirety like in one day. It was that good. And the last sports anime that I highly recommend is called Free. It's a swimming anime. I like to live vicariously through this one because I can't swim. It's about the main guy and his friends. When they were like younger, they had done a swimming relay together and won first place, and that was like a really great memory. But then eventually they all just kind of go their separate ways and then reunite in high school, minus one of them who is like gone on to do better things in the swimming world. In high school, they decide to form a swimming club together to try to like be the top again, to also meet with the one that like had gone his separate way. I think there's, how many seasons are there? There's 3 seasons of Free out. Overall, very easy watch, and I love the art. Even if I don't care for the anime much, if the art's good, I'll watch. And then we're gonna move on to my like horror, mystery, psychological anime. The first one I have written down is Ghost Hunt, which is also I think like an older anime. The main girl really likes to tell ghost stories with her friends. She runs into someone who works at like a psychic ghost like research company. She's like researching like the abandoned school and stuff. And then later on she walks past the building that he works at. She ends up breaking like a camera out there or something, and in order to like pay them back for the camera, since she's a high school student with like no money, she ends up working for the company, and that's how she's kind of dragged into this paranormal world of like ghosts and creepy mysteries and ghost hunting. Anime has a really good way of like going with paranormal anime without freaking you out too much. It also has little bouts of like comedy. It's not like a full-on horror, scary, I'm gonna cry, like no. The next mystery psychological horror anime that I want to recommend to you guys is Erased. That's just like the title of it, Erased. And it's about a guy who has like a weird power. When a tragedy or something bad is going to happen, he's transported to minutes before the said tragedy happens, and he can like stop it. So he saved like a lot of lives, and then one day he's suddenly accused of taking part in a murder of someone that he knows, like someone close to him. And then after that he's like, and he's suddenly transported 18 years in the past to an incident where one of his classmates had been abducted, and that kind of hints to him that like maybe that case has something to do with his current case in his current world that he was accused of. So basically Erased is about him on a mission to uncover what really happened 18 years ago, and he also tries to prevent the tragic like death that happened of his classmate back then as well. Such a good one. It has you on the edge of your seat because you don't know like who did it, what's going on, past, present, future. Like hopefully that synopsis just like dragged you guys in because it's a good one. And then the last one in this category I would consider more of like the psychological and mystery. It's called Danganronpa. It has I think 3 seasons, but I'm specifically talking about the first season. It's about an elite high school that like only accepts like the top students, and each student has like a unique title that represents like the skills that they may have. And initially everyone that's chosen to be in this like institution is really happy because you're like, dang, I must be like pretty cool to have been admitted. But then the principal of the school, which is like the iconic bear, you guys may have seen him if you're into anime, he traps them inside the school so they can't escape, and then he tells them in order to like escape / graduate they need to successfully murder each other. But the thing is they have to murder one of their classmates without having been caught. Like they can't be caught, and every time one of the classmates are murdered there's like a trial that is held where the remaining survivors basically all kind of talk and debate and decide who they think did the murder. Once they choose someone who they think did the murder, they are like put on like an execution kind of style stage thing. If they're caught, if they are the killer, they are basically executed is what it is. The remaining survivors are thrown back into the cycle of like another classmate has to die and then a trial again. Another classmate has to die, a trial again, until there's only one surviving victor. And it was really good. It has you like on the edge of your seat because when someone dies, you're like, who did it? Who's gonna die next? What's gonna happen? Would recommend to a friend. And then next, yes, I still have more. I would consider my like fantasy action adventure epic anime. First one I want to mention is Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is another one of my favorite anime. It's a long one, which I think is perfect to watch during quarantine because it's like, I think it's like 2 or 3 seasons, each like 50+ episodes. It's basically the world of magic and mages and like guilds and stuff. Anime obviously centers around the guild of Fairy Tail, centers around the main girl Lucy, who is like a celestial mage, and she runs into Natsu, who's the main guy of the anime. He's like a fire dragon slayer, and he invites her to join Fairy Tail, and from there we get to know more about Fairy Tail as a whole and the different mages and magicians and everything in the guild. And it's basically just an anime all about them together as a guild, a family fighting evil. It's like an action adventure, definitely a comedy. I love Fairy Tail, and you grow to love like each and every character because they are all highlighted, which I love. To me, I think Fairy Tail is my that anime. I want to get a Fairy Tail tattoo, like the guild tattoo, somewhere on me one day. Next one of these anime under this genre I want to recommend is Katekyo Hitman Reborn. It's another one of those long anime. I believe it's like 200 episodes. The main guy's a loser in school. He really does nothing right. One day he runs into this baby named Reborn who claims to be a hitman. He tells the main guy that he was sent from the strongest mafia family in Italy, and his mission is to make this main guy, this loser, the 9th boss of his mafia family and to make him successful and strong. New little baby hitman becomes his home tutor into helping him become the boss of like the mafia family. If you're looking for a long one, this one along with Fairy Tail are probably the two that I recommend the most that you guys should watch. And the last category of anime, yes, I'm not done, literally titled chill / easy to watch / comedy. The first one I have written is called Ecchi Kochi. It's like the epitome of like a comedy anime. A little tiny bit of like romance in there, but like not really. It's mainly a comedy slice of life. If you guys like Nichijou, which I know is another really popular comedy anime, Ecchi Kochi is really similar and really hilarious. The main girl has a crush on the main guy. They're friends, and the anime, it's about their everyday life and her trying to like confess her feelings to him, or her trying to hint that she likes him but him just not getting the message, and their friends trying to help her. Mainly a comedy slice of life. So easy to watch, so funny. The friends are hilarious. If you want like a really easy one to watch that'll make you laugh, watch Ecchi Kochi. Next I have one of my other favorite anime, definitely in my top 5, is K-On! There's 2 seasons of K-On!, so even better. Like K-On! Is basically about the main girl who is in high school. She finds out that she like just needs to join a club, and she finds the light music club, which she misinterprets the club as to being one that like they play like really easy instruments, but then in fact it is a club where they play like the guitar, drums, bass, like keyboard. And she like feels bad because she's like, I don't know how to play any of that, so she leaves. Then the light music club finds out that they are short a member, and if they don't get a new member then they are going to be like disbanded. So they go to get Yui, the main girl, and they're like, please join us, and she's like, I can't play an instrument, but they're like, it's okay, you'll learn. So she finally decides to join the club. From then onward it's just about the whole group as a whole getting together making songs, really good songs along the way. I love the songs that the light music club comes up with together. They slap. I've rewatched this anime maybe like 5+ times because it's so easy to watch. It's on Netflix. It's so good. I love K-On! The next one I recommend is called Bakuman. There are 3 seasons of Bakuman, so you'll be kept busy for a little while. I love when there are multiple seasons to like layer on the development. Main guy who has always dreamed of becoming a mangaka, he's like a really good artist, but then something happens and he decides to ditch that dream. In this high school class, one of his classmates finds his like scribbles and drawings and stuff and suggests to him that they become mangaka together because he wants to become one too. He decides to do it. And also his crush that he has in high school, her dream is to become a voice actress. So in the end, he makes his dream to like become a mangaka and have a really popular manga that can be adapted into an anime so that his crush can become the like voice actress for that anime. A really cute anime where they just are working towards their dream of becoming really popular mangaka. Romance here and there for both of the main guys. I love how they like show their development from like high school to like the 3rd season when they're kind of like up there. It's such a nice heartwarming watch. The next one I have is a really weird anime and it's called Arakawa Under the Bridge. It is so weird and like funny and just all over the place. It's literally just a comedy. It's about this main guy who like is the son of like a really wealthy family, hates being indebted to people, like owing people things, but then one day he ends up falling off a bridge. At the bottom of the bridge, the girl helps him, and then now he's like indebted to her and he's like, oh no. And like he insists on like paying her back for helping him, saving his life. But then this girl is like a teenager, she lives in like a box under this bridge, and she says that like her only request or whatever is to fall in love. She asks him to be her boyfriend, and then from then on it's just chaos. It's literal chaos with the people that they meet under the bridge and become friends with under the bridge, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's so funny. But it's funny in the weird way. If you're expecting like straight up like to be told to laugh, no, it's like you're laughing because everything is so weird and you don't know what's happening at times. The last anime, it's called Gekkan Shoujo Nozaki-kun, Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun. And this anime is basically about a girl who falls like head over heels in love with this guy, and one day she confesses her love to him. Like she's like, I like you, and he hands her his autograph and she's confused because she's like, why would I want your autograph? But then he reveals that he is a really popular mangaka, so he just thought that like by saying I like you that she meant that she likes his work, like his manga. So he completely misunderstood. Then eventually she's like, oh my gosh, and she becomes an assistant for him to like help him with his manga. And the anime basically follows hilarious events that happen with like her, him, their friends, and basically trying to help the main guy create his manga. This one's really funny. I think the friends are also the really funny part. I feel like the friends are always the funny parts in these anime. The opening slaps. Another A+ anime. That is the end. So I was actually gonna do one video of like K-dramas and anime that I recommend, but I realized that I had a lot of anime written down and I have a lot of K-dramas written down too, so I'm just gonna separate the videos. So that is gonna be all for this one. Let me know some of your favorite anime down below. If I haven't seen it, I would love to maybe watch it. I'm also gonna leave a link down below in the description to my anime list, which has all the anime I have watched and the ones I'm currently watching. Like I'm watching a couple currently right now. For example, Balance Unlimited is one that just started and I love it already. And Kami no To, which is Tower of God, is another one that I'm really enjoying right now. Maybe in the future I'll make another one if you guys like these kind of videos. But yeah, down below, leave your favorite anime. Would love to hear it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, stay cool, stay fresh, stay loving yourself, and stay speaking yourself. And watch anime, because we're in quarantine. What else are you gonna do? Actually, there's a lot of things to do, but just watch anime. Bye.